On today's episode of Murfreesboro Storytellers, we travel to Cannonsburgh Village, located next to the downtown area. It's been a very popular tourist attraction since it opened and hosts the city's largest musical event, Uncle Dave Macon Days. Welcome to Murfreesboro Storytellers. We're originating today from Cannonsburgh Village in Murfreesboro, and in particular the Lehman House, one of the many facilities located on the campus here with a great historic background. And we have today Nate Williams, who is superintendent for the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation. Nate, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Real good. This is a real large part of the Parks and Recreation Department, correct?
You know, Cannonsburgh is a huge part of what happens. I think it's part of what helps Murfreesboro maintain its historical heritage and makes it a really exceptional place to live, to have somebody a place like this.
I think we've made it a point a time or two already, or will later on, that Mayor Hollis Westbrooks, when he was serving as mayor, was instrumental in getting Cannonsburgh put here and all the various facilities that have come in here.
It's been a long time in process. For, looking back in the 70s when we brought everything here, Cannonsburgh was built as a bicentennial project, a national bicentennial project.
That's right.
In 1976, and it actually won a national award, third place for the best facility to represent the bicentennial, won $50,000 as a result of that. And
we don't have the old cedar bucket anymore. It burned.
No, the cedar bucket's here. We've just had to move it. Yeah, it was restored in 2011. It was restored, and we've redisplayed it. We're actually working on a master plan for Cannonsburgh to be able to do a lot more fun things out here, be able to host bigger events, be able to function daily for smaller programs, large programs, and rentals. And we're going to figure out a great way to display that cedar bucket. But right now, it's put up. It's still on display out in the village.
I knew it had caught fire at one time.
Right.
It goes back to the World's Fair in Chicago, the early 1900s.
Yeah, lots of great stories about the World's Fair.
And many folks don't know we had a cedar factory here that made pencil slats for the many companies in Shelbyville that made pencils. And it's sort of a sideline. They got to making buckets and tubs, and the large cedar bucket was a result of that, I believe. Yeah, a lot of history in that bucket. Tell me about the work on the master plan. Do you need more land?
No, this master plan encompasses just the footprint right now. Okay. And like I said, it's got a few different goals: to increase security, do better with our access that we have, and also be able to accommodate for big festivals like Uncle Dave Macon Days.
Yeah, and may have others coming in the future then.
Yeah, it's great. We pride ourselves in having a lot of partnerships, but do a lot of big events out here. We partner with the Rotary Club to do the backyard barbecue cook-off. We host events like Pioneer Days and Harvest Days, where it draws thousands of people. So we want to be able to expand that. I think Murfreesboro is growing and could use a venue like that can bring in a lot more of these big attractions.
The Lions Clubhouse and the JC's Clubhouse are part of the whole layout here, is that correct?
Yeah, and they're not moving. We've got a lot of partners here. We've got the Lions, JC's, we've got the Art League, the Blacksmiths, the Antique Auto Club, and it's just a great part. It's a unique thing. You don't see many parks and recreation agencies partnering with so many groups to make a village like this happen, and it goes back to the roots in the 70s, Mayor Westbrooks and how he developed it, and it's maintained its intended use throughout the years very well, and our staff do a really good job keeping the grounds up and improving every year, and take a lot of pride in it. Cannonsburgh is right on a trailhead. It's the Cannonsburgh trailhead for our greenway system, and a lot of people like that. At the end of their bike or run, they come and walk through the village, or they come have a picnic right next to Town Creek. It's a really unique place.
Tell us about the walking trails. Are they being expanded?
Yeah, we're always looking toward expanding the greenway system here in Murfreesboro. So about a year ago, we completed our Greenway Blueway Bikeway Master Plan, which shows over the next 20, 30 years what we would like to have as far as a greenway system for connectivity, and also our system of the rivers, how we can use those as navigable waters. But like you said, that's one of the most popular, most utilized features in Parks and Recreation is the greenway system. We're constantly expanding. Within the next couple of years, we'll complete Phase 4A and 4B, and the greenway will extend from Cason Trailhead over to Barfield Crescent Park.
And will we connect with Davidson County eventually, or is that?
I think eventually, in a long-term plan, we'd like to move north. One of the most exciting parts of the Greenway extensions, we're going to have a 3-mile, kind of a separate extension of the Greenway, but it's not going to be actually connected, but it's going to go from Walter Hill to the Coleman farm.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be the most beautiful. We've been working on that a lot, and it's going to be a really scenic view of Murfreesboro along the north side of town.
I've enjoyed riding my bicycle on the Greenway. A lot of walkers, a lot of runners.
The great thing about the Greenways, you can ride, you can take your kids, and then every few miles there's always a restroom, water fountain, and a playground for your kids to play on. I know that's what my kids like to do. We'll start at one, go to the next, then get out and play for a little bit.
It's been well done, well planned, well laid out.
We've got great city leaders over the years have planned it out really well and understood the need for it, and understood the need to keep it up and keep it expanding.
Tell us about other activities for the Parks and Recreation Department.
We always have something new going on. Our department, every weekend it seems like we've got something going on as far as a special event. If people are interested, they can always go to our website. It's murfreesborotn.gov/parks. That has all the information on our exercise schedules at Patterson Park and Sportscom. Has all the information about the pools. Right now is a really hot time for people who want to get outside. The Borough Beach is open, and people are really enjoying that. We're having about 1,500 people a day in attendance out there, and it's just a great amenity.
And you've got the center out there has been expanded and remodeled and updated. And
just reopened Sportscom. People haven't gone out there. It's a great place to work out. We have a new enhanced weight room that's downstairs, new aerobics rooms. And we've got great pass options too, where people can go buy pass if they want to work out half the time, then go to the pool half the time. It's very user friendly.
Yeah, we have a great Parks and Recreation Department, wonderful facilities.
Right.
What about Patterson Park? Anything special going on there?
Patterson is a great facility. We've got a lot of community partners that make a lot of awesome things happen. Something I'm really proud of, we've relaunched our youth development initiative. So the kids in the surrounding neighborhoods come and have a positive place to hang out and learn and engage. We do constant physical activities like games, and we also engage them in creative writing workshops, and we engage them in artistic workshops. Our whole goal is to help these kids discover passions. Because we believe that a life without passion is a life without purpose. So we can expose them to as many things as we can, maybe to find something that they love, they never really knew about, and they can really make something out of that.
As superintendent, how do you spend most of your time?
Right. I get to work with a lot of our staff, our program coordinators, from our Greenway program coordinators to Cannonsburgh program coordinators who do a great job. And then we go out to like cultural arts in different areas like Outdoor Murfreesboro. Outdoor Murfreesboro is really a new popular initiative within our department. We're engaging people in outdoor recreation and education. Right now we have a really big initiative exposing people to all the recreation opportunities on the Stones River, and we're servicing more and more, and that's headed out of our wilderness station at Barfield Crescent Park.
Is there much canoeing on Stones River?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different trailheads on our Greenway system that act as access points for the river. Boat Day is coming up on June 27th. That's at Saturday at Manson Pike Trailhead, and that's a great day for people. It's completely free, and that's where people can come out and try our canoes, try out our kayaks, come free and see if they like it, expose them to something like that. That ties in also to the Better Borough Project, which is an initiative of Mayor McFarland.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Better Borough Project is something the mayor has commissioned us to really help people have healthy eating options, encourage wellness activities, and then outdoor recreation. So it's really a trifold approach towards just really bettering the community. We have so many opportunities, not just in parks and recreation, but throughout the community. We've got a lot of gyms, we've got a lot of places that do a lot of great things, and we want to expose that and make Murfreesboro a great place to live, work, and play.
Are the feeding locations at the various schools, is that a part of that same program?
Not a part of the Better Borough Project, but we do have feeding locations across the city. I know a couple of our centers use our city school feeding locations.
Yeah, that's through the Murfreesboro City Schools. If you had one wish for something new or different, or you'd like to add to the department, what would it be?
I think we're doing a great job. Like I said, we've got great leadership. For years, Dennis Rainier was our director. Now Lanny Goodwin is our director. And we've really remained steadfast in our direction of providing really quality recreation services towards the community. And we're lucky to have a city council and city administration that believe in that. So I think if I had a wish, I wish we could keep on expanding what we're doing and reaching people so they know exactly what's going on and all the opportunities in Murfreesboro.
Yeah. Very good. It sounds like you're doing a great job and have a great department doing some wonderful things for the community.
We've got a great department, great staff, and work in a great city.
Nate, thanks very much for being with us. A little later on, Ben Wilson is going to tell us about Uncle Dave Macon Days, one of the biggest events at Cannonsburgh, right?
Right, that's correct.
And I believe you also arranged for us to have a tour of Cannonsburgh.
Yeah, we're glad to show it off, and we're glad to accommodate.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
Thanks.
We're now outside at Cannonsburgh Village, and we have Kathy Owen Wallace, tour guide for Cannonsburgh. Kathy, tell us about your duties as tour guide.
First off, I'd like to welcome you to our village. We do a lot of school tours here. And I like to tell people that when they step across our bridge here, you go back 100 years in history.
Very good. And what will be our first stop?
Our first stop will be our grist mill.
All right, Kathy, tell us about the mill. Does it actually function as a mill?
Yes, it is a functioning mill. This is our Ellis Gray mill. It is named for Ellis Gray, who is one of the early millers in Rutherford County. In this area, there were several mills because of the water. Of course, the water is what would power the wheel. We have several feed bags inside Ellis Gray. His picture's actually inside, representing some of the earlier mills. This mill itself is actually a recreation, but the equipment inside is over 100 years old, and it does work. We are able to grind corn here and do so on some of our festivals and tours.
And Mr. Gray's daughter, Linda Davis, lives right here in the community today.
Absolutely.
All right, Kathy, where do we go next?
We are going to our schoolhouse.
Wonderful. Let's see what happens there. Still back in the days of yesteryear, we come to a one-room schoolhouse. Kathy, tell us the history of Gordon's schoolhouse.
This is very much how a schoolhouse would have looked 100 years ago. That's what I tell the children on my tour, that if they lived 100 years ago, they would have gone to a school that looked like this, except they wouldn't have come on a school bus. They would have walked probably several miles. These schools were called conscription schools. And actually the teacher would take turns living with the families in the community. They were the ones that paid his salary long before the days of public education. There'd be one teacher no matter how many students there were, depending on the size of the community. The younger children would sit down front, older children in the back, and the teacher would take turns working with them. There were no notebooks or anything like that. They had slate tablets and slate pencils. And of course, there were large families, the children would share the books. And one thing I always point out on my tours, our blackboard is actually made of wood because people utilized whatever was available to them.
And interestingly enough, the Gordon family still operates a private school in the Midland community.
Absolutely.
And now we're at a telephone building from the 1900s. Actually, I believe coming from the Rockvale community. Tell us about the phones in the early 1900s.
Well, this was, of course, long before the days of cell phones or anything that we have today. The telephone company here was actually privately owned, and the lady that was employed was Miss Ada Rowland, and she was one of the very first telephone operators. This was her home as well as her place of business. She was on call 24 hours a day, and I always point out in my tours that the switchboard actually has very few cords because at that time not that many people in that area actually had a telephone.
Oh, I see.
If you wanted to make a call, you would ring up Miss Ada and she would connect you to whoever your party was. Of course, she could also listen to everything you said.
Sure. And ringing up, that was a hand crank.
Yes.
Back in those days.
Yes. No numbers. You just
Right.
crank the phone. Yes, sir.
And you had 4-party lines and 8-party lines, I guess, in those days and later. And into, as you say, what we have now with the cellular phones.
Everyone could listen to what everyone else said, so I imagine Miss Ada knew everything that was going on in the community before anyone else did.
Didn't need a newspaper much in those days.
No, sir, not at all.
What do you have in the building beside the switchboard?
We have her original switchboard. We have her original stove, which was actually a propane stove. We have her sewing machine that she brought here with her. Some of the cut work that we have on the bed and things were actually hers. And we have 2 pictures on the wall that show one is of Miss Ada and then one is of Miss Ada at that actual switchboard.
1900s telephone building all the way from Rockvale. We're now at the blacksmith shop at Cannonsburgh Village. And Kathy, this is almost a total thing of the past, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. The front part of the blacksmith shop, all the equipment is historically correct. I believe their anvil is over 100 years old. Of course, their billows that they used. And one interesting fact is that you see the old movies and you see the blacksmith shoeing horses. In actuality, the blacksmith did not shoe horses. He actually was responsible for the door latches. He made the nails that the houses were built with. He worked on the pots and pans. And a blacksmith was someone that was much more specialized and modern day farriers. So the blacksmith shop and the grist mill were really the hub of the community.
As a person showing horses, do you deal with the blacksmith or more or less farriers, I guess, aren't you?
Farriers.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. Well, Kathy, right out of the Link community, we're on the steps of the Westbrook Grocery.
Yes, John Westbrooks was actually the uncle of Mayor Westbrooks, who had a lot to do with putting this village together. This was a functioning store well into the 1920s. I actually have some ladies come by that remember buying candy here. Now, this was sort of the original Walmart. You could get everything from needles and thread to horse feed, horse collars, perfume, anything you needed was of course, the general store actually replaced the original peddlers that would go house to house.
Well, it had the post office in it, and even today we have stores, markets with the post office in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you would have to go to the store, and you could also pick up your mail at the same time.
Tribute to Hollis Westbrooks, who was I guess the father of Cannonsburgh, was so instrumental in getting it going.
Absolutely.
We're now in one of the most popular and probably most used buildings at Cannonsburgh. Kathy, tell us where we are and how this building gets used.
Absolutely. This is our Williamson Chapel, and there's many, many, many happy couples that have come out these doors. We do a lot of weddings here, but the secret to this chapel is it originally was a schoolhouse when it was moved here. We already had the Gordon Schoolhouse, so we decided to turn this into a chapel. And it's very reminiscent of many of the early churches.
Oh, it really is. Tell us about the windows.
Our stained glass windows, I think, are the most beautiful thing here. They came from a church in Georgia that was being dismantled. Provenance that I've received on them say they're originally from Germany, and they're well over 100 years old. Certain times in the afternoon, they almost glow when the sun hits
it. Sun hits a certain level.
Yes.
That's the story of the chapel at Cannonsburgh. Now we're going back inside and talk about one of the biggest events that takes place every year at Cannonsburgh. As you can see, the cap says Uncle Dave Macon Days, and that's being worn by Ben Wilson, who is the director of Uncle Dave Macon Days, which probably is the biggest event of the year at Cannonsburgh. Would that be true?
I would say it's one of the biggest events of the year.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
How did Uncle Dave Macon Days get started, Ben?
Well, it started in 1977. Jesse Messick, he wanted to start a little banjo picking contest up on the square. And it's just grown throughout the years.
And Jesse was a druggist on the square with his drugstore there, and
Correct.
felt an
the
important part of the business.
Exactly.
I think a lady named Gloria Shackley Christie's been very instrumental in that over the years, hasn't she?
Just a tad bit, yeah. She's my mother, and she took over the directorship, if you will, I guess about 5 years after the original festival started.
When did it move to Cannonsburgh?
In 1989.
89, you say, okay. Tell us about Uncle Dave Macon Days. Well, what is it about? Why are we having that? What does it bring to the community?
It brings the enrichment of old time and bluegrass music to the community. It does. I think it highlights the purest form of music in my mind.
And this is a perfect locale for it as well.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It really is. You know, with the buildings and the architecture and the stream, and it just really lends itself to shade tree pickers and people just getting together and feeling a part of this musical community.
I presume it's a year-round event. I bet you start after this one's over working on next year.
We have already booked our headliners, Heritage Award winner, Trailblazer, for next year.
Tell us about your Trailblazer. How does that be a part of it?
The Trailblazer, usually it's not as traditional as the Heritage Award. We have a little liberty there to hand that out. And this year is going to be the Steel Drivers. They are a real aggressive, progressive bluegrass, but they do have a lot of roots feel to them at the same time, a lot of blues feel to them at the same time.
And the Heritage Award?
Is Ralph Stanley, Dr. Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys.
Okay. And they'll be presented those awards at the 2015 event, I guess?
Yes. The Heritage Award, which is usually on Saturday, we had to move that to Friday to accommodate Dr. Ralph's schedule, and that will be at 8 o'clock. But before that, we've actually got a featured act that's going to help us get the crowd warm for that, and that's Russell Moore in Third Time Out, which is one of the most decorated bluegrass musicians there is.
Tell us about some of the other honorees that have received those awards in past years.
We've had Ricky Skaggs as the Heritage Award winner. We've had Grandpa Jones as the Heritage Award winner. Marty Stewart as the Heritage Award winner. Really, the list goes. You name it. Bill Monroe's been on that list too.
So almost anybody in country music or bluegrass has been honored here one way or another.
Correct.
Is there an admission charge for Uncle Dave Macon
There
Days?
is, and then we went up slightly this year. It's $10 for adults, it's $5 for children, and 55 and older is free. But with the value that we're bringing, these are all full sets that these bands are playing, and there's sunset concerts at 7 and 8. Even on Sunday, we have Larry Cordell who's coming to perform for us at 6 o'clock.
And you have more than one stage, I believe, do you not?
We do. This is the first year we will have a legitimate second stage, if you will, in front, or right beside the Visitor Center here at Cannonsburgh, where the original stage used to be. And it's just as nice, or every bit as nice, as the main stage. And we've got great acts that are going to be on there. The Glade Sea Rounders, Uncle Chef Lowe and the Haint Holla Hootenanny is going to be on there. Gary Reish, who is the director for the Center for Popular Music here at
MTSU, right?
is going to do 2 sets for us also. So we're really excited about that. We have a great lineup, so make sure you go online and check that out.
And this is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday each year?
Friday and Saturday we'll have the 2 stages. The main stage we'll shut down the second stage on Sunday and go to the main stage.
All day long and into the evening each day, I presume.
Each day, correct.
What about parking? Folks just have to find a place, I guess.
You know, that's always been a challenge, hasn't it?
Sure.
You know, it has. And it gets trickier every year, that's for sure. You know, and right now I'm trying to work with some business owners on it's at some different I don't want to say locations because somebody might go there to park, but we're trying to work with some business owners to get some more parking. But of course the city garage is always free.
Sure. And you always have the Murfreesboro police directing traffic and helping to keep everybody moving.
Correct.
Tell me, how many, do you use a lot of volunteers?
Yeah, and this year actually Mom Gloria, and Matthew Chase with McFarland Financial, they have kind of taken on that role of harvesting volunteers for us. And I think we're looking at probably about 150 solid volunteers this year.
Okay. So they just need to contact you if they like to work?
If they want to volunteer and get involved, yes.
Call you where, at the Cannonsburgh office?
They can call it Shacklett's Photography, 615-893-2369, or they can email me at sponsorudm@gmail.com.
What do you see for the future years? How, will this continue to grow, adding more events, more stages, if you will, more entertainers?
Yeah, you always want to be careful with messing with something too much.
When it's such a success.
And and the format change that we've done this year with the evening concerts is a radical change for some people. But we've also wanted to make sure that people understand that we've not forgot that the heart of the festival is the competition. And so what we've done is we're leading all of our competitions into these 7 and 8 o'clock concerts. We'll have the finals and championships. Now, after those concerts at 9 o'clock, the champions will actually close the show for us. So part of them winning the competition is actually being featured after the headliners, which at that time slot, that's typically when headliners would play.
Okay. So how many competitions do you have?
Ooh, Lord.
Well, name a few.
Let's see, we got old time banjo, old time band, bluegrass band, bluegrass banjo, old time singing, old time clogging, old time buck dancing, pretty much any dancing or bluegrass or old time instrumental mandolin. We're the national championship for old time banjo and buck dancing. And old time
I presume
dance.
you have folks attending coming from far and near.
I have already had. We've started for the first time pre-registration on our brand new website, which is beautiful, and we've had two people from St. Louis that have registered to compete, and one person from Dublin, Ireland.
Wonderful.
Yep. And I said, if you make it from Dublin, I'll let you in for free. So,
You're all heart.
oh yeah. If you're gonna make the trip, we'll let you in.
Tell us about the website. I wasn't aware that you have a website.
Yeah, we have a brand new website that we just developed over the winter, and it is fantastic. It's very user friendly. It's mobile responsive. You can go there pre-register. If you're a vendor, if you can go there and buy 3-day passes. We're only selling 3-day passes online right now because it's the only thing that price point wise makes sense. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And Jam House Designs actually designed the site for us. So.
Well, if somebody gets hungry while they're here, do you have concession
there's plenty of
stand?
food. There's plenty of fried food.
Okay.
Yeah, you could leave here as fat as me if you wanted to. So.
Okay, so we can go on the web and register for a 3-day pass, you say, right? For 3-day ticket.
3-day tickets, the only one we're selling online through Eventbrite.
which is an easy service to use, and you can download that ticket on your phone or you can print it off.
Okay.
So,
One more time, and give us Uncle Dave Macon Days. Give us the dates.
Uncle Dave Macon Days takes place July 10th, 11th, and 12th. Our gates open at 8 o'clock in the morning for security reasons, but the real activities get started at about 10 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can go online, find out all the information.
Go
about
online
it.
and plan your trip, buy tickets, see the site map, look at the schedule, and pick and choose what you want to do.
Estimate how many people you usually have in attendance.
About 20 to 25,000.
20, 25,000
Yeah.
over the 3 days.
Over the 3 days,
Yeah.
and that's weather involved and stuff like that. But if we usually have a stout year, good lineup like we're going to have this year, we're anticipating probably we'll have record crowds this year because Warren Ralph Stanley on Friday night and Russell Moore is going to be. Friday night could be our biggest Friday we've ever had just because of that.
Okay.
Because of that lineup.
So that's Uncle Dave Macon Days coming to Cannonsburgh Village in Murfreesboro
That's it.
every July.
Every July, second weekend in July every year.
This will be what year?
38.
The 38th year.
38th, and I'm 38 years old, and I think
So you spent your life.
I've spent my life. The last 5 or 6 years really doing it, but yeah, I've always been learning from great people.
Sure. Congratulations. Wish you every success for your show, and thank you very much for joining us on Murfreesboro Storytellers.
All right.